Jaya Radha Madhava Gunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Jashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Gunjam Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Gunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Jashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Shtotadesa Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Shtotadesa Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 3, Text number 1. Please repeat. Shri Raju Vacha Parasya Vishnuhu Ishasya Mainam Api Mohinim Mayam Veditam Ichamaha Bhagavantaha Puruvantu Naha. Sri Rajuvacha Parasya Vishnur Ishasya Mayinam api mohinim mayam veditam ichamo Bhagavanto purvantunaha Sri Rajovacha Parasya Vishnor Ishasya Mayinam api mohinim mayam veditam ichamo Bhagavanto purvantunaha Sri Rajovacha Parasya Vishnor Ishasya Mayinam api mohinim mayam veditam ichamo Bhagavanto purvantunaha Sri Rajovacha Ishasya Mayinam api mohinim Purvantunaha Sri Rajovacha Parasya Vishnur Ishasya Mayinamapi Mohinim Mayam Veditam Ichamo Bhagavanto Purvantunaha Sri Rajovacha Parasya Vishnur Ishasya Mayinamapi Mohinim Mayam Veditam Ichamo Bhagavanto Purvantunaha Sri Rajovacha, the king said, Parasya of the Supreme, Vishnuhu, Vishnu, Ishasya, the Lord, Mayinam, for the processors of great mystic power, for the possessors, Api, even, Mohinim, which is bewildering, Mayam, the illusory potency, Veditam, to understand, Ichamaha, we desire, Bhagavantaha, my lords, Borvantu, please tell us. Naha, to us. Translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. King Nimi said, we now wish to learn about the illusory potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Vishnu, which bewilders even great mystics. My lords, please speak to us about this subject. Purport. According to Srila Siddhar Swami, in this chapter, various saintly sons of Rishabdev will speak about the illusory energy, Maya, the means for crossing beyond it, the characteristics of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and prescribed duties for human beings. The 48th verse of the previous chapter stated, Vishnur Mayam Idam Bhashyan, a devotee of Krishna should see the entire universe to be the illusory potency of the Lord. Therefore, King Nimi is now pursuing this subject matter by requesting more detailed information from the saintly Yogendras. According to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the demigods headed by Lord Brahma and the human beings of the earth are all driven by their particular desires for material sense gratification. Thus, they direct their senses toward research from material knowledge. The subtle celestial senses of the demigods and the gross senses of human beings are all busy in ascertaining the measurements of material sense objects. To understand fully the actual nature of Maya, the illusory potency which causes the conditioned souls to become averse to Krishna consciousness and surrender to bewildering material manifestations, King Nimi is inquiring from another of the 9 Yogendras, Sri Antariksha. Oh, okay. Liberation from the illusory energy, chapter 3. In answering to 4 questions spoken by Maharaj Nimi, the chapter describes the nature and activities of the illusory potency Maya, the method of becoming free from Maya's insurmountable grip, the transcendental situation of the Supreme Lord Narayana, and the process of karma yoga, by which one becomes free from all material activities. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original cause of all causes, created the 5 material elements from which the material bodies of the conditioned souls are created, so that the conditioned souls may cultivate either sense gratification or ultimate liberation. Appearing as the Supreme Soul, appearing as the Super Soul, the Supreme Lord enters the material bodies of the created beings and activates the 11 senses of the conditioned souls. The conditioned soul misidentifies the created material body with his actual self and thus engages in various fruitive activities. Impelled by the reactions of his own activities, he repeatedly takes birth in various species of life and thus suffers greatly until the time of the cosmic annihilation. When the annihilation is imminent, the soul of the universal form withdraws the entire material creation within himself, and then he himself enters into the original cause of all causes. In this way, the Lord empowers his illusory potency, consisting of the 3 modes of material nature, for the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of the material universe, accepting the roles of a male and female in this material world. Conditioned souls unite in sexual relationships. Although these souls constantly make material endeavors to eliminate their unhappiness and unlimitedly increase their pleasure, they inevitably achieve exactly the opposite result. Permanent happiness cannot be found in this world, either on the earthly planets or on the heavenly planets, which one can attain in the next life after performing ritualistic ceremonies and sacrifices. Both on earth and in heaven, the living entity is harassed by the envy and rivalry of others. Therefore, any person who seriously desires to find permanent relief from the sufferings of material existence should take shelter of the lotus feet of a bona fide spiritual master. The qualification of a bona fide guru is that he has realized the conclusions of the Vedic scriptures by deliberation and is able to convince others of these conclusions. Such great personalities who have taken shelter of the Supreme Godhead, leaving aside all material considerations, should be understood to be a bona fide spiritual masters. Accepting the bona fide spiritual master as one's life and soul, the submissive disciple should learn from him the process of pure devotional service, which satisfies the Supreme Lord. By thus following the path of devotional service, the disciple gradually develops all good qualities. One should hear, glorify, and meditate upon the wonderful transcendental activities, appearance, qualities, and holy names of the Lord. Where, whatever one finds pleasing or enjoyable, he should immediately offer to the Supreme Lord. Even his wife, children, home, and very life heir should be offered at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should serve others and also accept instruction from others. Especially one should serve and learn from those who are pure devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By chanting the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the association of devotees, one becomes satisfied and happy and develops a loving friendship with the devotees. In this way, one becomes able to give up material sense gratification, which is the cause of all suffering. When a devotee attains the stage of pure love of Godhead, the hairs of his body stand on end, and he manifests various ecstatic symptoms. He personally meets the Supreme Lord and becomes full of transcendental bliss. By learning the science of the devotional service and practically engaging in the devotional service of the Lord, and the devotee comes to the stage of love of Godhead. When completely devoted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, the devotee easily crosses over the illusory energy, Maya, which is extremely difficult to cross. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause of the creation, maintenance, and destruction of the universe. Yet he has no prior cause situated within the temporary and constantly changing material world. The Supreme Lord remains eternal and unchanging. He cannot be understood by the unaided mind or senses, and he is transcendental to the manifestation of the material world, which takes place as a subtle cause and material effect visible in the appearance of gross material objects. Although he is originally one, by expanding his illusory potency, Maya, he appears in many different forms. He's always free from birth, growth, decay, and death. And he is the super soul, the all pervading witness who perceives the mentalities of all living entities. He's the supreme Brahman and is known as Narayana. When one seriously engages in devotional service to the lotus feet of Lord Narayana, and the impure desires lodged within one's heart as a result of one's previous work within the 3 modes of material nature are destroyed. When the heart is thus purified, one can directly perceive both the Supreme Lord and oneself as transcendental entities. Through authorized study of the transcendental Vedic literature, one can properly understand the meaning of prescribed duties, non-performance of such duties, and forbidden activities. This difficult subject matter can never be understood by mundane speculation. Vedic injunctions indirectly lead one to the path of ultimate liberation by first prescribing fruitive religious activities, just as a father promises his child candy so that the child will take his medicine. If an ignorant person who has not conquered the material senses does not perform the Vedic injunctions, he will certainly engage in sinful and irreligious activities. Thus, his reward will be repeated birth and death. On the other hand, if one executes the regulated activities prescribed in the Vedas without attachment and offers the results of such work to the Supreme Lord, one attains perfect freedom from the bondage of material work. The material fruitive results offered in the revealed scriptures are not the actual goal of Vedic knowledge, but are meant for stimulating the interest of the performer. If a conditioned soul worships the Supreme Lord Hari by following by following the regulations found in the Vedic literature, such as the Tantras, he will quickly become free from the bondage of the false ego. When a devotee obtains the mercy of his spiritual master, who reveals to him the injunctions of Vedic scriptures, he worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the particular personal form he finds most attractive. In this way, the devotee quickly becomes liberated from all material bondage. Magyana-timirandhasya Gnanjala-shalakaya Chakshulunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam yena Bhutale Swami Rupakanamo yena Vandeham Shri Guru Sheta Paradamam Shri Guru Vaishnavasha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagaram Tam Shri Jivam Sadvaitam Savdutam Parijanam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Sham He Krishna Karina Samudina Bandhu Jagapate Gopisha Radha Radha Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gongani Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sate Devi Paramami Hari Puri Vajakalpati Vrishabhasni Chaitanya Guru Vaishnavi Guru Bhagishaya Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Vedigadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Om Shri Krishna Namo Om Shri Krishna Namaste. Okay, we're continuing on in the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And Srila Prabhupada starts this purport off with saying that in this chapter, various saintly sons of Rishabdev will speak about the illusory energy Maya, the means for crossing beyond it, the characteristics of the Supreme Person of God, and prescribed duties for human beings. So Maya, as we know, is very difficult to overcome, as I just read before in this beginning chapter, in the introduction. And we understand that this Maya is very hard to overcome. And there's a verse like that in Bhagavad Gita, a very famous verse, Mama Maya, Mama Maya Durataya, Mam Eva Pratyate, Mayam Etam Tarandite. So like Krishna says himself that the three modes of material nature are very hard to overcome. But if you just surrender it to me, you can easily cross behind it. Like a calf's footprint, like the material world is a vast ocean of material suffering. But if we're able to surrender unto Krishna, it becomes just like a calf's footprint. Say like that in Srimad Bhagavatam. So we have to follow this process of Krishna consciousness to be able to surrender unto Krishna. Most devotees or most people who come in contact with Krishna consciousness, they see that this is something completely different. They understand that this is something beautiful. They can immediately tell. At least when I first came in contact with Krishna consciousness, this is a very unique process. You can immediately tell that this is something that can change your life immediately. And devotees, we as practicing devotees, we should try our level best to keep on going forward and forward to every day, every second, every millisecond to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Because there's this book called Chanakya Niti, Chanakya Pandit. He says that even if you can't even buy with millions of gold coins, you can't buy a single millisecond back of time. So we should try our level best not to waste a single millisecond of time. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it says that pure devotees, they are constantly always engaging in the devotional service of the Lord. They're always thinking of Krishna. They don't waste a single time. They're always glorifying and thinking of Krishna. They never waste a single time. So we should follow in the footsteps of the previous acharyas, like Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And this is what actually King Nimi does. he inquires from a bona fide spiritual master. He's inquiring. It says right here at the end of the purport, King Nimi is inquiring from another of the nine Yogindras, Sri Antariksha. Antariksha. Uh, so we should follow in the footsteps of King Nimi and the previous acharyas, and all many examples in the Srimad Bhagavatam, like like uh, um, what's Vidura. He inquires from Maitreya Muni in the third and fourth canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and Narada Muni himself. He inquires from Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma surrenders unto Krishna. So as we can see, the entire parampara, what they're doing is when they have something, when they have some troublesome tribulations, trials, and miserrors, they don't go to their own mind, because usually most of the time our own mind is not our best friend; it's our worst enemy. And I like to tell that to people on book distribution all the time, that our mind is not our best friend; it's our worst enemy. And most people, they're not able to control their mind. It's actually a very hard process. Krishna says, I mean, Arjuna says in the Bhagavad Gita, trying to control the mind. It's actually easier trying to control the wind than trying to control the mind. So we understand that, but by the process of devotional service, we are able to control the mind. You know, like this. That's why Krishna says, if you surrender unto me, then the three modes of material nature are very easy to overcome. And so we should see that this material world, everything, like it says in this purport, the 48th verse of the previous chapter stated, Vishnur Mayam Idam Pashan. A devotee of Krishna to see the entire universe to be the illusory potency of the Lord. And according to this, in the the Brahma Samhita, there's a very nice verse that is in correlation with this. It's Tristir Stiti Palalaya Sadhana Shaktireka Chayeva Yasya Bhuvanani Vipa Arti Durga Ichan Rupam Apiyasya Chechastatesa Govinda Mari Purushantamaham Bhajami. The external potency of Maya, who is the nature of the shadow of the Chit potency, is worshipped by all people as Durga, the creating, preserving, and destroying agency of this mundane world. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, in accordance with whose will Durga conducts herself. So actually, Durga Devi, she's a devotee of Lord Krishna, and in that purport, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he says that this material universe is actually a citadel in which Durga Devi herself is the presiding deity. So, and the wheel of karma is the destructive punishment which enacts upon us, on the material entities, on the conditioned souls. So, we how can we understand this? We're trying so very hard to become free from birth, death, old age, and disease. We're trying our best, our level best, to be happy. Like it says in this introduction, many people, they're trying to find happiness right here, accepting the roles of male and female in this material world, because this shows unite in sexual relationships. Although these souls can constantly make material endeavors to eliminate their unhappiness and unlimitedly increase their pleasure, they inevitably achieve exactly the opposite result. We can see this if you go on book distribution. Naturally, you can see that many people, they're trying their level best. They're trying the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, uh, the next sense gratification object, whatever it means, drugs, sex, partying, whatever it might be. People, you can clearly see, especially when you go to these festivals. If you ever go out to these festivals and distribute books, you can see that the people, they're completely enamored by sense gratification, and they don't know what they're doing. They don't know where they are. They don't know who they are. They just completely are immersed in this citadel, as Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says. Um, and it's really crazy because I know, like, in the material world, you can go to jail if you have bad conduct. And as Prabhupada says, this material world is a uh, what is it? Is a it's here. We're here in the material world to reform ourselves, to make ourselves a better devotee of Krishna. That's the eternal position. Uh, Jiva Swarup, Hoy Nitya Krishna Das. We are eternally servants of Krishna, and it is our duty to become more and more Krishna conscious. That's actually the goal of life. But people are forgetting this because, like I said, this material potency is actually very strong, and it's very crazy because like I was trying to make the point that if you don't have good behavior in the material world, you probably end up in jail, or you get some tickets, or you have some bad conduct. You're gonna get some punishment from the law. So it's like this law. You end up in a prison. Whatever, level one, level two, whatever it might be. You end up in a prison with bad conduct, whatever you might do. And so, in this prison, it's not the whole point of a prison is to take away all your sense gratification. They give you horrible food. You have to associate with moted out prisoners that no one likes each other, and you have to wake up at a certain time. You can't sleep as much as you want. So you're very regulated actually, because the police officers are very mean. If you ever read this book, Salted Bread, it's actually very devotees. They in Russia, they were shooting books, and they got caught by these officers, but they treated the devotees very badly. But the point I'm trying to make is that this prison is not meant for enjoyment. So naturally, we look at the material prison, and they're not enjoying at all. You know, and what to speak of this material world? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he says that this material world is a citadel. A citadel is a maximum security prison. Means that at every second we're being attacked by Maya. We shouldn't, as devotees, we should try our level best to uh, always, every day is a war, in the mind, and so we should try our best. Because if we don't, everybody in the material world, they're enamored by this material sense enjoyment, like it says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhogashvaya pratattanam traya partachetasam Mika buddhi sambuddho na vidyate. In the minds of those who are too attached to the sense enjoyment and material opulence, and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. So we can see here people who are too attached to boga, they are the devotional service in the heart never takes place of the devotee. As we see, in India, it's called, Bharta Barsh, the land, the very pious land. In America, we like to call it Boga Bhumi, the land of sense gratification, the land of enjoyment. Boga means enjoyment, but we're supposed to offer that boga to Krishna, then it becomes prasadam. We get in the know, uh, we get the mercy of the Supreme Lord. And this is the way to actually control the senses, is you have to offer everything to Rishikesh. Uh, that's how you control the senses. Naturally, the way to control the senses is actually performing devotional service. So when you perform devotional service, naturally, side by side, you're getting liberation from devotional service, and at the same time, you're also controlling the senses because you're worshiping the master of the senses, Rishikesh. Um, so, you know, Kinimi is in this process of trying to do this. He's inquiring. Therefore, Kinimi, it says in the purport, therefore, Kinimi is now pursuing this subject matter by requesting more detailed information from the saintly Yugindras. And then it goes on to say, according to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the demigods headed by Lord Brahma and the human beings of the earth are all driven by their particular desires for material sense gratification. So, uh, many people, they especially you know people from Indian backgrounds, they're very pious people. They worship demigods, and they do this to get some material sense gratification. uh, but we understand that Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam. He's the supreme personality of Godhead. That anything that you actually want is originally coming from Krishna. All the demigods, they receive their powers, they receive all their titles, they receive all their positions from Krishna. So many people, they're endeavoring for this. Human beings on earth, they're all driven by their particular desires. It says in Prabhupada, by their desires. They're driven by their desires, and it says here that and it says in Bhagavad Gita, from contemplation on the sense, contemplation on the sense gratification, contemplation on desire, it leads to madness actually. because then you get bewilderment of intelligence, and then you lose all your intelligence, because that's actually the start of fall down, is you contemplate on material desires. You're contemplating on material desires, and I like to say contemplation on realization, contemplation on spiritualization leads to realization. So if you contemplate more on Prabhupada's purports, and it leads to realization, and you're able to understand. You gain shastra chakshuhu, meaning that you can see with the eyes of shastra instead of the eyes of mundane eyes. So, but most people, they're contemplation on contemplation on sense gratification leads to frustration, as most people are contemplating on sense gratification. At least I do. I you know so but by the process of Krishna consciousness, we are able to free ourselves from this. And in the purport, it literally says, thus they direct their senses toward research for material knowledge. Like these scientists are very much thinking that they are so smart because they went to the moon, or they're able to figure out, what an atom is, or whatever, with, all these different subject matters. It's knowledge, but it's not transcendental knowledge. It's not knowledge meant to free you from birth, death, old age, and disease. Ultimately, all this knowledge that they're researching about is completely useless. Like, I remember one time, me and my good friend Janardhan Krishna Prabhu, we were at a grocery store, and we met an Indian man. He was from South Indian background. He was from Tamil Nadu, and we were distributing books. And he came up to us, and he said, he looked at Janardhan, because he saw that Janardhan, he's a white bodied devotee, and he was like, you Americans, I very much like you. You Americans are very much like you, but what you're doing here, I don't. You Hare Krishnas, I don't like it very much. It's like, and he was saying, like, why are you wasting your time on this? Why don't you go and study, Elon Musk? Look at Elon Musk. He's a very amazing man. He's able to shoot rockets into the sky and go to the moon and do all these Tesla, and study all these different things of technology, AI. Look at him. He's a very amazing guy. He's glorifying. He's a bhakta of Elon Musk, not a bhakta of Krishna. So he's glorifying Elon Musk like anything, thinking that Elon Musk is like the supreme personality. He's like some great saintly guy trying to revolutionize the world. But if we see, Janardhan told him, he said, Elon Musk, okay, he can do all these amazing things, but what's the point? Does it actually free you from birth, death, old age, and disease? No, it doesn't. You just waste millions and billions of dollars to go to a planet that you never even went to, and you come back down, and that's it. Just you taxing the people like anything. It's stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam in the fifth canto that for governments, or for people who tax the people very much, is actually a great sin, and they're going to be crushed like sugarcane juice through a grinder by the what is it, by the Yamadutas, uh, just like how they are squeezing every drop of penny from the citizens. So this is this is the this is what's going on in the material world. Many people, they're uh, they're trying their level best to the aim of life is sense gratification. They think that everything, this body is all in all. They think that money is all in all. They think that everything is all in all. But no, we understand that we are different from the body. We understand that when matter means there's a beginning and there's an end. So anything associated with that matter, like if you try to get happiness from that matter, naturally the happiness is beginning and there's an end. But naturally, if we understand that, we are originally Satchidananda, we are eternal, happy, and we are full of knowledge. But like I said, like, it says here, like Prabhupada says, when a jiva fell from the material world, they made that very famous ISKCON term, bloop, made that sound bloop. So we just, as soon as we come into the material nature, we completely forget. And there's a song like this, bhajan, jeev jago, wake up, wake up. You're sitting on the lap called the witch called Maya. So many people are just completely forget who they actually are, and it's our duty as devotees to give everyone this knowledge. You know, and because it's actually it's jiva himsa to not give the opportunity to the conditioned souls to understand this amazing knowledge. You know, if we know what we're supposed to be doing, what is right and what is wrong. Krishna says that in Bhagavad Gita, that a person who doesn't know what is right and what is wrong is considered a demon. There's only two types of people, you know, asuras and suras. There's only two types: demigods and demons. And it is our duty as practicing devotees to go and at every second preach the glories of Krishna. Like, Lord Chaitanya says that in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. He says that, wherever you go, tell everyone, about Krishna, about the transcendental glories, the holy name, like this. And, even Prahlad Maharaj, even though he was associated with many, many demons, he himself was a pure devotee, and he was able to give the demons the association of Krishna through the holy name. We know this famous verse from the seventh canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Padasevanam, what is it? Nivedanam, something, I forget the rest. But like this, the goal of life is to always be hearing, worshiping, remembering, serving the lotus feet of the Lord. And like this, we can become purified, and we get the chance. Not only do we become purified by always speaking about Krishna, but we also give the chance to others to also know about Krishna. So this is like this is the amazing program that Prabhupada has gave us. And what is that program? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, "Man mana bhava mad bhakto mad yaji mam namaskuru mam evaishi satyam te pratijani priyosime." Meaning that we should always be thinking of Krishna at all times. Think of me, worship me, come, and you surely come to me. Like this, So this is the program, like. And the best way to always think about Krishna actually is through book distribution. Harinam Sankirtan, Briham Madanga. It's very, very easy, because when you're on book distribution, it's you basically have no time to be in Maya. You really don't, because constantly at every second you're facing, you're seeing people who are, you see right in front of you, these people are suffering, and they don't know that even if they know or they don't know, uh, no matter what, they are suffering. And we are out there, and you have the books in your hand, you have your bee bag on you, and you just have people right in front of you, and all you got to do is say, what's going on, man? It's like, love the hair, you know, take this book, read it, apply it to your life. It will free you from all. It will make you happy. This book will make you happy. So on book distribution, you're just constantly. That's what you're doing constantly. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Krishna. You're speaking about Krishna. You're looking at the books of Krishna. You're remembering about Krishna. You're telling other people about Krishna. That's how you're serving Krishna through distributing his books. Sarva Dharma Parityaja Mamekam Sarvaja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Moksha Shami Masacha. So, by this book distribution, you actually come closer and closer and closer to Sarva Dharma Parityaja by giving up everything and surrendering unto Him. Every day you go on book distribution, you're able to surrender more and more. And that's what book distribution is actually. That's the program. That's why Prabhupada wanted us to do it so much. Books, books, books. Distribute books, distribute books, distribute books, is what Prabhupada said. So we should try our level best to even if you distribute one small book a day. That's like the best thing you could do, actually, because it will get you fired up to distribute more and more books. So, in Krishna says himself in the Bhagavad Gita, "Ya idam paramam guhyam mad bhakteshu abhidhyasyati bhaktim mai param kritva mam evashyati asamshayaha na cha tasman manusheshu kaschin me priya kritamaha bhavate na cha me tasmar anyaf priyar taro bhuvi." He literally says himself, for one who shares the supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end he will come back to me. There is no servant in this world who is more dear than he, nor will there ever be one more dear to me. Dear, there will never be someone who is more dear. So Krishna himself clearly says that this book distribution, that sharing this knowledge with others, they are more dear, and they will never be more dear. Look at Srila Prabhupada. His entire life he spent just translating Srimad Bhagavatam, preaching Srimad Bhagavatam, When he at the transcendental act, he was giving up his material body, his transcendental form when he was at the end of his pastimes. He he's he just was speaking Bhagavatam. He was speaking Bhagavatam. He was worshiping Bhagavatam, and he is the personality of Bhagavatam. So he's we sing every day, Yasa Prasada, Bhagavad Prasada. If you want to get the mercy of Krishna, you have to worship. The pure devotee of the Lord. And even Prabhupada says this in the purport as well, that we must, no, it's not in the purport. It's in the introduction. Is that we should try to approach a bona fide spiritual master. Accepting the bona fide spiritual master as one's life and soul. The submissive disciple should learn from him the process of pure devotional service, which satisfies the Supreme Lord. By thus following the path of devotional service, the disciple gradually develops all good qualities. And and Prabhupada also quotes this verse a lot. It's very famous. Yasya Devi Pura Bhaktir Yasya Devi Tadat Guru. Tasyaitai Katitahya Yarta Prakashante Mahatmanaha. Only unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master are all the imports of the Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. So naturally, when you surrender unto the Supreme Personality, and if you have full faith in the spiritual master, all the revealed scriptures are revealed unto you. So we should try our level best. Every day is a battle, but in the army is not easy. Srila Prabhupada is the Senapati Bhakta of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's the general of this Harinam Sankirtan. He's the general. He's the one who leads us to victory. Like that verse. What is it? What is it? The one reading. What is it like? Wait, how does it start? The verse 1878, last verse. What is it? How does it start? Yatra Vigeshwara Krishna Yatra Partana Dunodaraha Tatra Shiva Jayapatir Dhuva Nitir Mitir Mama. Wherever there is Krishna and wherever there is Arjuna, there will certainly be victory, victory, morality, opulence, and extraordinary power. Sanjaya says this to Dhritarashtra. So we understand that wherever there's Krishna and his pure devotee Arjuna, if you really think about it, if you're ever distributing Bhagavad Gita, if you're ever distributing Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna and Arjuna are always with you because you're carrying Bhagavad Gita in your hand. Krishna is non-different from Bhagavad Gita, and when we distribute this, they will, no matter what, even if you distribute lots of books or no books, at the end of the day, if you just go out there and try, or if you just endeavor for book distribution, if the mood is that we're trying our level best to give everyone the supreme knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, then there will always be victory no matter what. I remember my Guru Maharaj, he was telling me, because we were telling him some stories about book distribution, and he said that on book distribution, there really is no loss or diminution. Some people, like, at least for me, I'm like very conditioned. So I think that sometimes I'm having a bad day or a good day like this. But he said that there's no such thing as a bad day on book distribution. There's no such thing. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he would actually be very happy even if you distribute one pamphlet. He would be very happy when someone distributes just one pamphlet. So, like, and my Guru Maharaj, I remember he also said that, like, there's no winning or losing, because sometimes you have transcendental competition between your friends in book distribution. There's no winning or losing when it comes to book distribution. Everyone is the winner because you become purified. You're engaging in Harinam Sankirtan, and you're also giving the opportunity to others to also understand who Krishna really is. So in this way, we can always be engaged in Krishna consciousness, and this is how we fight back Maya. Actually, these books are the weapons. It says in the Bhagavatam, in the 11th canto, or actually in 2 chapters from now, there's a very famous verse. Krishna Varnam Tasha Krishnam Sango Pangasha Parshadam Yangya Hi Sankirtan Prayur Yajanti Hi Sumedasa. Yajanti Hi Sumedasa means if you are intelligent in this age of Kali, you will come together in congregation to chant the holy names of the Lord. And it says that he appears not blackish, in a different complexion. He comes with his associates and he comes with his weapons. What are those weapons? The weapon of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is his beauty, and then the weapon of the heart. Our weapon as practicing devotees are these books. Prabhupada said that these books are like bombs. We can put these bombs in the people's hands, and it will blow up all their material desires, and they will come and eventually surrender unto the pure devotee of the Lord. And then you will feel. Then people will be able actually to be able to understand what is Maya, and you know what is real knowledge, what is Krishna consciousness. So I'll end my class here. If there's any questions, comments, corrections, I'll take them now.
Hare, Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much for your class and sharing your realizations. One thing that you mentioned was that sometimes if we do not get result, like you said about book distribution, and there will there will always be victory. The like the general conception we grew up like in school with, like everything is performance based. uh,
Yeah.
Even acceptance in like educational institution, or a a person working at a company, or anything is like everything is performance based. So how like having a mind shift, seeing that just an effort will bring victory. If you can mention some more things about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, like Bhaktisiddhanta was very pleased just by one pamphlet being distributed, because actually there's many devotees who came to Krishna consciousness just by from one book. There and it's crazy because some devotees were not even full-time book distributors. Some devotees are like cooks. Everyone has different services, but ultimately all these different services. If you're a pujari, if you're a cook, if if you're cleaning the temple for Krishna, if you're whatever it might be, everyone has their own different services. But those services are ultimately aimed for book distribution. The pujari, he does the pujari service so that the book distributors can go out. They can see the beautiful form of the Lord. They can get the charanamrita, get the mercy, and then go out on books and be fired up. The cooks, they cook for Krishna. They offer the prasadam to Krishna, and they give the foods to the Sankirtan warriors to go out and distribute more books, so they become energized. The cleaners, they clean the temple so that the book distributors can have uh, so they don't have to clean the temple. They can have some nice facilities so where they can come back and just rest, and the next day they go back out. So everything is for the propagation of this Krishna conscious movement. Everything we're doing is preaching, actually. So no matter whether you're a pujari or a cook or a book distributor or a cleaner, everything is meant for preaching. All these activities are meant for preaching the glories of Krishna. And I can give you many examples. That one example comes to mind is uh, there's this devotee. His name is Balabhadra Bhatti Acharya Prabhu. He's a Prabhupada disciple. He's from Atlanta. He was just he was boarding the bus, and there was a devotee happened to walk by, and the devotee wasn't like a big book distributor. I forgot who gave him the book, but basically he was just walking by, and he was waiting for the bus, and the book distributor just like there was a long line, and he was just like in the middle of the line or something. He was about to get on the bus, and the book distributor goes up to him and hands him a pamphlet. It was a pamphlet. It was like the pamphlet, was it Krishna, the Reservoir of All Pleasure. It's that purple pamphlet, you know. And he just gave it to him. And he's like, "Hey, can you give a donation?" And he's like, "Hey, man, I need this donation. I'm about to get on the bus, man. He's like he only had like a couple cents left." but he still gave the donation to him because the devotee was so pure. He had pure intentions. He saw Krishna. He's like, his face looks very beautiful. He gave all the money he had. He took that book and it changed his life. Now he's been a devotee for over 50 years, and he's been engaging. So just this devotee just gave, all he did was just put it in his hand. That's all he did. He just tried, and that one pamphlet, just from trying, he became a great devotee. So, if we, like I said, if we just try, even if a person doesn't take the book or does take the book, these books are like ticking time bombs. Prabhupada says that, like, these books are like ticking time bombs. You don't know when they're gonna go off. They can go off, now, tomorrow, a year from now, 10 years from now. So even if you just try, it's still victory no matter what. Eventually, someone will read these books. Eventually. So that's what I mean by there will be victory. You know, it might be 10 years from now or tomorrow, but the point is that this book distribution is all purifying. Hare Krishna.
And thank you for your class, Prabhuji. It's very inspiring. Do you have any thoughts about how to use social media and AI in book distribution? Because I do music, and I'm mainly interested in book distribution and using like the new technologies. You have any thoughts?
Yeah, yeah. So actually, this we actually use social media. Actually, social media. Actually, I don't use social media. Sorry, but our temple, Krishna Life, we have a social media page. It's called Ali the Monk. He got pretty popular now. He's pretty popular now. He got, in just a month and a half, we have 110,000 followers. So it's been doing pretty well. Because we're promoting this spiritual eco village. So we're promoting Varnashram Dharma, and actually it's really crazy because yesterday, and not even just yesterday, multiple times other devotees have experienced, but me yesterday personally, and like a couple of days ago, but yesterday personally I experienced that, there's people who they got books, they got books from us, or they got books from me, and they come up to me, they're like, hey, like, don't you have, are you guys like part of that spiritual eco village thing? Like, I was like, yeah, man, that's us, man. We're in it. Are you from Atlanta? Like, they just already knew. Are you guys from Atlanta? Yeah, we're from Atlanta. How'd you know? Like, oh yeah, I follow your page. It's like crazy. Just by, and there's some people who, like, there's other devotees from our yatra. Just by showing up, they look at the, like, oh my god, are you Ali the monk? And like, like, or like, are you guys from the Instagram? And like, yeah, let me take some books. Like, wow, I can't believe I met you guys. Wow. Just by the influence of these of the social media, they come up to us and take books. It's amazing. So I mean, social media is definitely good for preaching, no doubt. But you have to use it in the right way, because social media can be a lot of Maya. We can get a lot. They call it doom scrolling. You can get very distracted by scrolling all day, or you waste a lot of time on there, and you just get in, and it's hard to get out. It's like, well, and then you look at the, like, it's like, it's like 8 o'clock, looking at Instagram or whatever, TikTok, whatever it might be. And then you like, you look at the time, and it's like 9 o'clock. It's like, what the heck? And a whole hour just passed and you didn't even notice. So yeah, social media is good, but we should try to restrict ourselves as much as possible. If it's meant for preaching, only use it for preaching. But if it's like, for something else, like, you just want to watch, I don't know, some nonsense or something, waste your time, then it's not really good for your spiritual life. You don't really gain anything, actually. You really don't. You just waste time. Literally, that's what it is. So yeah, I mean, when it comes to social media and AI, you can use it. You can definitely use it for the service of preaching. But there's a lot of restrictions also, because you can fall into deep Maya with it too. Thank you. Anything else, Mataji?
I was hearing some comments that persons don't spend much time writing these days. So that being divorced from expressing oneself in a written form, it must surely also affect the inclination to read. So it's interesting, you're doing book distribution and persons are taking books. Do you find that anybody speaks to you about uh, factually sitting down to read the book?
Yeah. Yeah, that's also a very important point, is that we should, Prabhupada said that, he was actually, he talked to his book distributors. I think this was in Atlanta. He spoke to them. He said, these books are not just meant for distribution. These books are meant for you, meant for reading. So actually, Prabhupada did say that, yeah, these books are meant for reading mainly. He's like, many devotees, they would distribute lots and lots of books, but then, okay, you're distributing books, but do you know what the books are? What are they talking about? It's like, it doesn't make any. It's like, yeah, so it doesn't make much sense. But yeah, when we distribute books, we actually try our best to try to engage people in reading the books, because that's how everyone pretty much comes to start to understand that, like, okay, this is like a serious thing. This is a serious you know movement that's meant to help you go beyond this material world. I like to say, this book distribution is the only solution to a divine revolution. So we're trying to we're trying to help people go beyond this material world, and we're really trying to, Prabhupada has a revolutionary spirit. He wanted to change everyone's entire life, completely 180. So yeah, we when we distribute books, we like Krishna Life, us personally, like we try to get people's numbers, we try to get their emails, or we give them our website, or we give them something like, here, please go engage, or we try to call them or text them, and we try to cultivate them and trying to read the books. Like, I know personally, Charan Prabhu, he did some a Zoom call and read with one student, and like they read together, and so this cultivation. Krishna consciousness is actually also, that's a good point. It's also very important to try to get people to read the books, because that's how I became more serious. Actually, I mean, I think that's why everyone becomes more serious from reading Prabhupada's books, because Prabhupada's piercing words, they pierce your heart, and they cut the attachment to material desires. So, yeah, that's it. Charm.
Actually, when they see book distributors on the streets, if someone gets a book and they see that there are book distributors out on the street, uh, then they feel inspired. Maybe it's a reminder for me to read these books. I actually got these books from one of you before, and they become inspired. It's a reminder for them to read it. So just being out there, even if someone doesn't take a book, it's purifying the whole atmosphere in that way.
Yeah, that's a good point. I messaged him like that yesterday, actually. That he got the books, but he hasn't read them yet. And then just because he saw us, he's like, you know what? This is a reminder. I need to read those books today. So there you go. Just by being out there, we didn't even do anything. We were just out there, and he just saw us, and he's like, I need to read those books. So there you go. All right. Well, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.